SAT Math Lesson 12 is about linear inequalities. These are two random questions that I came across that I think are worthy of looking over because you may or may not be familiar with them, and they are problems we should get. So let's look at this. First off, what is a linear inequality? It's an inequality which involves a linear function, right? Some of these, like the first example is a compound inequality, whereas the second one is pretty straightforward. So let's look at the two word problems here. Both of these are calculator questions, but you really don't need the calculator. A project manager estimates that a project will take X hours to complete where X is greater than 100. The goal is for the estimate to be within 10 hours of the time it will actually take to complete the project. If the manager meets the goal and it takes Y hours, so it took Y hours to complete the project, which of the following inequalities represents the relationship between the estimated time and actual completion time? So they want to be within 10 hours. So if they bid the job, they want to be within 10 hours. So right away when we look at it, we know if it takes Y hours to complete and you had an idea, right, that the project would take X hours, we're going to take the hours it took, subtract the hours that we bidded, and we need this to be between 10 hours. So in this case, we either want to be less than 10 hours over or greater than 10 hours less. And in this case, it would be letter D. Okay. Now, some of these don't make sense. So that's the reason, like, that only just tells you it's going to be less than 10 hours, greater than 10 hours. But you got to remember it's got to be between or within, which tells you it's a compound inequality. Okay, the next one. On January 1st, 2000, there were 175,000 tons of trash in a landfill that had a capacity of 325,000 tons. Each year since then, the amount of trash in a landfill increased by 7,500 tons. So when it says each year since, this kind of represents a slope or a rate of change. If Y represents a time in years after January 1st, 2000, which of the following inequalities describes a set of years where the landfill is at or above capacity? Well, if capacity was 325,000 tons, we know at or above means we have to be greater than or equal to 325,000 tons. Well, we initially had 175,000 tons. We know it increased 7,500 tons, right, since then. So if we take 7,500 and multiply it by the number of years, this would represent the number of years it was at or above capacity, which is letter D. Okay.